When you zoom out and look at history from a distance, you start to notice something that's almost eerie. For 5 centuries, empires have risen, dominated the world, shaped global politics, controlled trade, influenced culture, and then collapsed. Not because of one big dramatic battle or one catastrophic event, but because they quietly walked down the same path as the ones before them. Spain, Britain, the Soviet Union. 3 superpowers from 3 different centuries, yet their decline followed the same blueprint, almost like it was pre-written. And today, when people look at the United States, many can't help but ask themselves, is this the same story all over again? It's not a comfortable question, but it's a necessary one. Empires rarely collapse from the outside. They collapse from within. Their power fades before anyone even realizes what's happening. And by the time the fall becomes visible, the decline was already years, sometimes decades underway. To understand what might be happening today, we have to go back. Back to where this pattern begins. Let's start with Spain. In the late 1500s, Spain was the richest empire on earth. Their ships were floating treasure chests, literally. Every year, massive cargo fleets arrived from the New World carrying gold, silver, and exotic goods. No nation could match their wealth. No military could challenge them. Their currency dominated international trade. To put it simply, Spain was the United States of the 16th century. But here's where the story turns. The very thing that made Spain powerful, the endless flow of silver, became the thing that weakened it. Easy money is a dangerous addiction for empires, because it makes them think growth will continue forever without effort. So Spain stopped investing in what actually sustains a superpower: production, innovation, education, industry. Why build factories when treasure ships do it for you? Why invest in domestic agriculture when foreign mines keep paying the bills? Why build a diversified economy when silver seems infinite? And once an empire believes that prosperity is guaranteed, that's when arrogance takes over. Spain began fighting too many wars at once: France, England, the Ottomans, the Dutch. War after war, front after front, draining the treasury. When they ran out of silver, they printed more money. They diluted their coins. Inflation soared. Prices skyrocketed. And within just 80 years, Spain defaulted on its debt 4 separate times. A superpower destroyed not by enemies, but by its own decisions. Now let's move forward in time to the British Empire. At the beginning of the 1900s, Britain was the most powerful country the world had ever seen. 1/4 of the globe was painted in British red. The pound was the global reserve currency. London was the world's financial capital. They controlled oceans, trade routes, colonies, and industrial production. People genuinely believed their dominance would last forever. Sound familiar? But beneath the surface, pressure was building. Maintaining such a huge empire required massive military spending, global responsibilities, endless commitments. And then came World War I. Britain won the war, but it didn't survive the cost. The entire empire was financially exhausted. Debt exploded. Gold reserves collapsed. Factories slowed. Unemployment rose. Yet even after that, Britain tried to maintain the illusion of global dominance. They tried to defend a currency that was already losing its power. And then World War II arrived, delivering the final blow. By 1945, Britain was a superpower in name only. The pound lost its status. The colonies gained independence. And within a generation, the most powerful empire in history shrank into a small island off the coast of Europe. Britain didn't collapse dramatically. It simply faded quietly, gradually into the background. Now let's jump to the 20th century to the Soviet Union. If Spain was the symbol of early imperial wealth, and Britain the symbol of industrial global dominance, then the Soviet Union was the symbol of ideological superpower. On paper, the USSR looked unstoppable. Nuclear weapons. The world's largest army. A space program rivaling the United States. A vast network of states under its influence. But again, the same pattern was forming underneath. The Soviet economy was fundamentally broken. Factories produced goods nobody wanted. Agriculture failed repeatedly. They had to import grain even while claiming to be one of the most powerful nations on earth. Their currency had no value internationally. The government spent more on military competition than it earned from its economy. And then, one day, the system buckled. Not slowly, quickly. In just 900 days, the entire Soviet Union dissolved. 15 new countries emerged. The Cold War ended without a single major battle. No foreign invasion. No dramatic overthrow. The superpowers simply ran out of economic strength. 3 empires. 3 centuries. 3 collapses. 1 repeating pattern. Now comes the uncomfortable question, where is the United States in this cycle? When you compare the stages of past imperial decline, the US has already completed most of them. The first stage is military overstretch. The US has military bases in more countries than any empire in history. With that comes enormous expense, responsibilities, and political obligations. Rome, Spain, Britain, the USSR, they all reached this stage. The second stage is currency pressure. While the dollar is still dominant, it's losing purchasing power. Inflation rises. More countries are trading in other currencies. Global confidence shifts slowly, quietly, but noticeably. The third stage is exploding debt. The U.S. national debt is now over $36 trillion. Interest payments alone outpace entire government departments. The pattern is identical to every declining empire. The fourth stage is the shift from production to consumption. America used to manufacture almost everything. Today, most factories are in other countries. Imports rise while exports fall. Again, this is the exact same shift Spain and Britain experienced. The fifth stage is social fragmentation. Every collapsing empire had internal division before its fall. Political polarization, loss of trust in institutions, rising crime, economic anxiety, cultural fragmentation. These aren't just modern issues, they're historical warning signs. Which leaves two stages left. And these two stages come quickly. Stage 6 is the loss of reserve currency status. If the dollar stops being the world's primary currency, trillions of dollars could flood back into the US economy, causing inflation, instability, and the collapse of advantages the country has relied on for decades. Stage 7 is rapid decline. Not gradual. Not quiet. Fast. Just like the Soviet Union's sudden fall. Just like Spain's sudden bankruptcy. Just like Britain's sudden withdrawal from global leadership. Now, does this mean the United States will definitely collapse? No. History is not destiny. Patterns can be changed. Cycles can be broken. But only if the problems are recognized and acted upon. Every empire that fell had one fatal blind spot: they believed they were different. They believed they were immune to the rules of history. They believed the cycle didn't apply to them. Spain believed it. Britain believed it. The Soviet Union believed it. And today, America believes it too. But history whispers the same quiet warning every time: no empire is too big to fall. No superpower is too strong to stumble. No nation is immune to the consequences of its choices. If the United States wants to avoid repeating the past, it must learn from the past. Because the truth about America's future might not be found in front of us, it might be hidden behind us. In the stories of empires that once ruled the world, stood at the peak of power, and then watched their strength disappear faster than anyone expected. History doesn't repeat word for word. But it rhymes. And right now, the rhyme is getting louder.